menu page or to the start. So again, back to those kind of 3 steps. So we hopefully have made this a little bit simpler when you first come in to figure out kind of what you need to do to get started. So those steps again: connect Facebook, add a location, and then go to create an ad. So I'm going to walk through those bits in a moment. Just want to but I want to lay everything out. Over here is kind of a left nav bar that has a bunch of different items that you can go to. So create an ad obviously is the same as step 3. I'll show you our dashboard in a little bit. There's a My Ads section where you can see all the different ads you've run, in addition to some basic metrics. You can go to My Images and Videos. This will be images and videos that you've used in the past on ads. So at any given time, you can gain access to the library of movie content, but this will show you specifically the content that you've actually run ads on before. And then some tools, you can go in and look at your locations. We have a nice map that you can see and make sure that we've got the right latitude and longitude for you. You can look at invoices, and then you can connect additional social pages, although that's going to get completely handled kind of here in this first step of connecting Facebook and Instagram. And then lastly, there's always kind of a help section. I'll just show you really quickly. This is kind of our help or how-to guide. So there's a lot of different links so you can get started. You can look at tutorials if you need help with either registering, adding a location, running an ad, anything like that. So definitely encourage people, if they're having issues, to either look at the help guide, or if you look at the bottom right of your screen, there's also a nice little chat bot which connects directly to us. And so you can send us a message and we'll respond back to you, and if you're having any issues or if you encounter any problems. So going back to the menu, and we'll just kind of follow through this 3-step process. We'll wait for Facebook to pop up. So what you're going to do is you're going to click on the continue as. Since I'm already logged in, it's showing up as me, but you'll probably just see continue with Facebook. You'll get a pop-up that comes up, and this is now connected to Facebook. So this has really nothing to do with us. So if you're, I know some people have been concerned that this is connecting to their Facebook page, and what does that mean? Or are we going to be able to see what's going on in your page? We won't. We don't see any of that. This is all handled through Facebook itself. So I'm continuing as myself. Obviously, I have a lot of different pages, but you'll want to click on which page you're trying to connect and you want to run ads against. So for me, I have this Corelytics, which is obviously my name. But I'll click on the page that I want to run ads on. So maybe it's Corelytics, and I'll also include the Screen Moguls. Then this shows you the permissions that we're asking for. So this is the bit that's very important to us, that will enable us to create and manage ads on your behalf for your page. It'll also allow us to manage ads for any ad accounts that you have. Most people probably will not have a business ad account with Facebook, and that's fine. Mostly we're looking for this create and manage ads for your page. If you deselect any of this, it may cause some issues with accessing your page and running ads on your behalf. So just want to make sure all of these are clicked, and then you should be ready to go. So now we've linked our different pages. We'll get it, if it has gone through, we'll get a nice little already authorized. So that's basically done. That's all you need to do. Again, we know that this is kind of a more challenging bit because we were sending you out to Facebook to come back. So if you do have any issues or feel like you haven't connected it appropriately, feel free to reach out and we'll make sure we solve any issues. The next step, we'll go to add a cinema location. So specifically for theater owners, we have a list of locations. So what you'll do is you'll just start typing in your location. You can either type your name, your city, your address, whatever you may need. For me, I've already added in my local theater, the Landmark Theaters, but I'll add in my ArcLight Hollywood. I'm not sure what will happen to those guys, sadly, but hopefully the Cinerama Dome will come back. However, so I can click on that and I can go ahead and claim my location. If you search for your location, let me just, I don't know, random business. I love Honor Bar in Beverly Hills. And you don't find your location, especially for some of the cinemas here who are outside of the US and the UK, we may not have your theater. If that's the case, just click on this, can't find your location, click here to add it below. And then you can run through and add your location name, address, zip/postcode, state or county. The only really important bits are the address and the city. Usually from there, we can find your location, but it doesn't hurt to, fill out everything and get a complete profile. And then if you're outside, the US or UK or, anywhere, you can change your country. But I'm going to go through the bit where I add ArcLight Hollywood, and I'm going to claim that location. And then after you claim your location, you'll get this map. It's just a Google Maps, and it'll show kind of your locations on a map, and you can zoom in, zoom out, and take a look and just kind of make sure that this is the right spot. So for me, I'd already connected prior. My landmark theater is Pico, and that's this dot here, so we can see that. And then we just connected the ArcLight Hollywood, and we can see that that's right here in Hollywood, which makes a lot of sense. So that's basically it. The thing to remember is you can add as many of your locations as you want. You'll want to add locations here before you go to run an ad, just so that you can use it in your targeting spec. So I don't know if we've got any questions yet. No, it looks like we're still good to go. So we've connected our Facebook, we've added our location. Now to kind of the last and final step where we create an ad. So people who've used kind of the prior version of the product, there's kind of a lot more here. So, sometimes it can be a little overwhelming. So hopefully I can just kind of walk you through each bit, and then, hopefully it will take away some of the overwhelming dauntingness. But the first bit is to choose your channel. Now, this is kind of an important step to do up at the top, as a lot of the menu items and things you'll be selecting or choosing from are channel specific. So while we've brought and standardized everything to one create an ad process, there are a lot of differences and nuances within each channel. So it's good to kind of click the channel first, and then you'll see relevant specific items to that channel. Real quick, just to kind of show you, if you do click on TikTok or Facebook, Instagram, you'll see that the ad preview that we are providing now slightly changes. So this will be a good way now for you to see exactly what your ad will look like after you've added your content and typed in some of the ad information that's specific to the channel. So just kind of going through, let's say we want to run a Facebook ad. We definitely encourage people to try new channels, Snapchat, TikTok. Like I said, you don't need to connect any page to run those ads. So actually, why don't I do a TikTok ad since it's kind of new and exciting. So I'll just put this as test TikTok ad. I'll look at my start and end dates. I probably want to run it for this weekend. So 5/7 to 5/9, that works. I'll spend $100. As far as the ad spend, we get a lot of questions on this. How much should I be spending? The short answer is you can spend as much or as little as you want. There are a few specifics to that. So for across all the different channels, there is a minimum daily spend that we can't go across. So let's say you wanted to run a campaign for 30 days, you would have to spend at least $10 or 10 euros, 10 pounds a day at least. So that would be about 300 pounds, euros, dollars, something like that. So there are some of those limitations. But typically, if you're going in and you want to run an ad for Mortal Kombat for the weekend, you'll run it for 3 days. The minimum amount of spend you would have to spend is $30. Additional components to that would be the more you spend, the more people you will reach, and the more people that are likely to click on your ad and actually go. That's kind of standard. So we can definitely work with you on, based on the potential reach of your audience in your area, what might be the proper amount of spend. But typically for like a small rural theater, you'll want to spend anywhere between $30 and $50 a weekend. If you're in a slightly larger kind of middle market, you might want to spend anywhere between $50 to $100. And if you're in a big kind of urban environment, we may want to bring your radius targeting from the typical kind of 20-minute drive time to, or 20-minute drive time, which usually converts to anywhere between 15 and 25 miles. We may bring that 20-minute drive time down to like 10 miles. So in which case you're in an urban environment, you may want to be spending up to $100 or $200. Jeff, do you have any bit to add on that? I know we get a lot of questions, so I want to make sure I'm slightly addressing that.
No, I think you know, what we usually say is to, you know, start a little bit smaller. If you don't have huge amounts of budget, you know, this product is designed for businesses that don't have thousands and thousands of dollars, pounds, euros to spend on this. So if you want to start a little bit smaller and start with, you know, $30 or $50, then that's totally fine, and we will help you with that, and the product will make that money go as far as possible. I think that's the biggest thing to reiterate, is that you don't need to spend huge amounts of money to make this work for you. This product is designed to make the most of what you can spend.
Yeah. Also, I should go over this. There's little kind of tool tips and tricks here on the side if you're not quite sure what each of these components are. So that sometimes can help you understand. Also, if you click on this checkout tutorials, this will take you specifically to the tutorial section where you can see, you know, how-to guides on different components. So sometimes this is a good place to go if you're stuck on something. All right, so we've chose our channel, our budget. Now we want to figure out where we want to go. So we added our location, but as you'll see here, we've clicked on TikTok and we don't get a location option. So that is kind of an important kind of caveat here. Facebook,
that is
Instagram.
Sorry, I just need to add in, that is coming on TikTok. That is not a permanent thing. TikTok is still a very new advertising platform. So it's just important to remember with them that they are adding new features all the time. So while you can't do really hyper-local targeting on TikTok yet, it is coming very soon. They have literally just added DMAs in the US, and they will continue to roll out new things. Kyle, it might also be worth showing like a Facebook ad to show how you can
absolutely
do local targeting as well. I'm sure you
will. We'll walk through a couple. So for TikTok, you'll want to go by geography. And for me, I'll want to do something like Los Angeles. But if you do run, and that's the same with Twitter as well, they do not do hyperlocation targeting with latitude and longitude. You'll be picking DMAs or cities or zip codes. But let's say I pick a Facebook ad, that will give me the option to choose my location. In which case you'll choose one of the two locations that I'll choose one of the two locations I've added. You can choose any of your locations that you will have added. So for this one, let's say I'll choose ArcLight Hollywood. This next bit of targeting is optional. So this is definitely something new from the last one, but you can type in here, you know, beauty or organic food or anything. Just start typing phrases and you'll find keywords related to the ad. Go ahead, Jeff.
Parents is a big one. For example, if you've got a family title and you want to be a little bit more targeted rather than just targeting everyone within a 20-minute radius, you might just want to say, right, I want to target parents, and that will just target parents within that 20-minute radius of your cinema. So that's where it would come in handy for a movie campaign. Generally, you probably just need to target people in your local area. This is optional, additional targeting.
Exactly. So definitely don't need to run through this. The default is, you know, all for age groups and all for genders. And, you know, interests will just make your potential reach smaller. All right, so we're back to Facebook ad. We've chosen ArcLight Hollywood, although we could choose a geography as well. We're not going to do any interest targeting. Now we're going to go to design an ad next. So here, this is where we're going to start to choose the images and videos, and then type in the different components that you'll see on your ad. So this is what someone will see when you run your ad on Facebook. And this is what they'll be clicking on to go to your website. So a couple different options to source. The default, if you're a cinema, will be studio movie content, but we provide quite a few different options. So as I've mentioned in the past, you can upload new content. You can select from your existing content, so things that you've run ads on in the past. You can obviously go and look at studio movie content. I'll walk you through this process in a second, or you can design an image with Canva. And I'll walk through that as well in a bit. So we'll start with movie content. I mentioned Mortal Kombat, so we'll just look at Mortal Kombat. So you'll start typing in your movie, and then you'll click on, I'll show that again, maybe I did a little fast. You just want to make sure you click here to find an image. That'll bring a pop-up that gives you, that'll show you a library for that specific movie. We have now over, I think, maybe 15,000 different items. So you're going to want to make sure that you pick a movie. So it kind of makes that library a little smaller. So there's a bunch of images and videos that we get access to now. As you can see here, there's over 110 items that we have for Mortal Kombat specifically. This can be a little daunting to go through all the different bits and to figure out what will be the best. We like to say typically that videos tend to outperform images, so keep that in mind. As well as I also like to encourage people to use any of the assets that are get tickets or in theaters now. We'll try to keep those kind of in the front. We're working on how do we kind of prioritize or suggest specific pieces of content that we think will perform better. So we're working on that in the coming months. But in this instance, we have the Mortal Kombat tickets available. You can play the ad kind of right here on the pop-up. So for this one, I'll choose Mortal Kombat tickets available. It's the first item that you see, and then you choose your movie file, and that will update here. So as we start to input information and click on images and videos, we'll see that update in our ad preview, so you get a sense of what this will look like to the user.
Kyle, just jumping in really quickly.
Yeah.
So for those of you outside of the US, it's important to remember that the silver screen insider content is obviously is domestic content. We are working with local distributors to provide localized content. So while I can't guarantee that we will have it right this very minute, if you were to run a campaign tomorrow, if you send us a request, we will do our best to find a localized version, and we are working on longer term partnerships to make sure that we have localized content for each territory. So that's just something to flag to our users who are not in the US.
Yeah. So then the last bit that you'll do after you've clicked on studio movie content, you've picked your image or video, you'll see some ad information here that you'll want to fill out. I already have some bits, so I'll just kind of run through. So the headline pops up here, kind of in this section. My description, I'll just say, buy tickets now for Mortal Kombat. You'll see it pop up here in this, where the copy goes. You'll select your button, you either book now or get showtimes. I like book now. And then you'll input your URL. So this is the URL that you want users or people who see your ad to go to. So if you have a Showtime specific page where you're actually showing movie times, that's where you want to send people to. We want to remove as many steps between kind of the social media channel and them actually booking tickets. If you don't have a Showtime or movie specific page, you just have maybe all of your Showtimes are on your main page, then you can just link them there. So for me, I'll just put in Screen Moguls. And that's basically it. That's all you need to do to kind of create and design your ad. So again, it's just choose your channel and spend, figure out how you want to target your audience, and then kind of design your ad. So we'll kind of run through that bit real fast. And then I'll go back to create an ad and I'll show you some of the different options, but let me just run through first kind of this whole setup. Again, you'll be able to see your ad preview just to make sure it works, but I don't want the sound to go. So I mentioned we're adding subscription. So here's that little upgrade to subscription box. We'll talk about that a little more later, but just kind of want to show you this is where you can upgrade there. This shows you a little preview or breakdown of your ad. So when it's running, where the spend is going, we put in $100. 13 is going to targeting, and 87 is going to the channel. We don't have a credit on the account. One thing that you may see if you run quite a few ads is if we put $100 in Facebook, they may only spend $99.50. So that kind of little breakage between how much Facebook spends will get added back to your account. So we'll always be keeping track of that for you now. So the last bit, we'll go pay by card. That'll take you to our third-party payment processing partner, a lot of P's, Stripe. So another thing we've added in here, so we're keeping track now of your customer ID, and we'll send that over to Stripe, so they will keep your payment information. So that just helps kind of speed up the whole process. You can see a breakdown here on the left again of where your dollars are going. You can type in your information. This is just a test account at the moment, so obviously this is not a real credit card. And then once you're okay with all of the different information, you'll click pay. That'll process and then send you over to your ad execute page. And this just lets you know that the payment has gone through. And this is kind of where we pick up and we start doing all the heavy lifting. This is where we push your campaign, or your ad to the social media channel. We'll build your targeting spec. We'll make sure that it's optimized appropriately for what you're running and where you're running, that your reach is appropriate, all of that bit. So this is kind of where we start doing a lot of the heavy lifting. For you guys, you're basically good to go at this point. If we want to check out a couple of different bits, we can look at our dashboard or our ads. So here, you can see I've kind of put in some information in the past, but you'll be able to see here how much the total cost of the ad, how much has been spent to date. You'll be able to see some basic metrics like how many people clicked on your ad and what the cost per click of that ad is. So the next step I want to walk you through is when you go to your dashboard, you'll see some additional information in terms of like how many people have seen the ad, how many people, again, you'll see how many people have clicked on the ad, how many unique people saw the ad. So how many times it was seen, how many people saw it, and where it ran. So all of that information will be here, and we'll be adding quite a bit of information here, like metrics over time, demographic metrics in terms of age groups that have seen it, genders that have seen it, and kind of all of those additional breakdowns that are available. So kind of run through that. We don't have any questions. So I'm going to just show you a couple additional features. So I'll go back to the create an ad step. We went through the movie content process, but let me just show you what Canva looks like. So if you click on the Design Canva button, this will bring you kind of within the gocinema product, it'll bring you this Canva pop-up. You'll have to log in with either register or log in with Canva, which is kind of the unfortunate part, but we'll do that real fast. Fortunately, you guys can't see my password. That's good. Hopefully I can remember.
While Kyle's logging in, it's just important to remind everyone that Canva is free, so you don't need to worry about, you can create ads without having to pay anything. This is quite an involved sign-up process. It doesn't do that for me, so there is a way of speeding this up.
Well, yeah, it's mainly because I have two-factor authentication with Canva. But so here you'll see kind of Canva pop up. And the nice thing is you can either upload content here. You know, I've uploaded some content in the past. This is kind of set up on 1080 by 1920 if I'm running like a Snapchat ad. But you can either upload content here, or you can search from their database of millions of photos. So if there was, I could search for a theater, and if I wanted to kind of have a generic ad for a theater, I could pull that up and use it. And this is completely free and available to you however you want to do anything. So you can kind of design from scratch You can add a bunch of different things that you wanted to, or if you wanted to search for popcorn and add that somehow. I mean, this is obviously not the best looking ad in the world. This is probably not how you would want to build it, but you get a sense of, all the different things you can do. You can add effects, you can crop and do all sorts of fun stuff. After you've done designing your ad, again, this is probably not the ad you want to design. It's not very good, but you'll click this publish button, and that will kind of send you back to GoCinema, where you can use this piece of image or video that you just designed. So I'll click on Snapchat, and you'll see here kind of my ad show up. So kind of a fun, cool little way to create, some content if you don't have access to, or you don't want to run for a movie and you don't have access to your own, creative for your theater or your concessions or something like that. So that one's kind of fun. Obviously, there you can upload your own content, or you can select from existing. So if I select from existing, that will bring up content that I've run ads for in the past. So I've done a lot of different testing here and there. So I've done some Nomadland, some Godzilla, all sorts of kind of cool, fun stuff is available to you here. So if I clicked on the mission stories, I can run from that, and it'll kind of fill in the information that I've used in the past. So just want to make sure that this bit is filled out, and so it's all working. So that's kind of the main features I wanted to run through today, kind of showing you kind of the new layout and some of the additional kind of functionality you have to see an ad preview, as well as choose from a bunch of different options of where to get your images and video. We've run through the Facebook Connect and the Ad Cinema location bit. So I'll stop there and open it up to any questions. But I hope that you guys have enjoyed kind of this little tutorial and setup, and hopefully you're like the new platform. As I mentioned kind of early on, we're going to be adding tons of new features as we go along and continuing to clean up. What we really hope to achieve, especially with this type of webinar, is to continue to get feedback from you guys. So I think, Eric was on this call. I think he might still be on this call. Eric has been providing a lot of great feedback on some of the issues he's having, and hopefully we're meeting his needs to try and improve the platform so he can use it as best he can. So again, just reiterate, please send any feedback you have, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. We definitely will take all of that in and try to improve this thing and make it work for you guys as best as possible.
I should also flag that this section of the tutorial where Kyle's been taking us through everything has been recorded. So I will send it round to everyone who was on this. I know we had a couple of people join us a bit late and they may have missed some sections. So we'll make sure that you have access to it. Are there any questions? If not, that's fine. But if you do have something, pop it in the chat and we will go through. Is there a way to delete an ad after created and sent? So for example, if you found a mistake after creating.
Yeah, so I know this has come up before. We are going to be adding very quickly the ability to kind of change the status of an ad. So pause, delete, or update an ad, as well as the ability to save an ad and come back and pay for it later. So that is absolutely on the roadmap and will be coming very shortly. I know, Eric, you created an ad and you wanted to actually change it. And right now you don't really have the option to do that. So that is definitely going to be something we're adding in. In the meantime, in the kind of short 1 to 2 week period before we get that updated, if you do have an issue and you want it to stop, just send it back, or just send us a note either in the chat or send us an email, and we'll make sure that that gets canceled before it can run. Yeah. I mean, one thing I will also say, just to kind of ease any concerns, we're very much reviewing and looking at all of the ads that are getting placed. So, it's while we have connected to all of these social media channels with APIs, we're very much looking through the ads, making sure that everything makes sense. and then kind of clicking that we've reviewed it and go. There is kind of a, I guess you could say there's a review process for on our side, as well as a review process on the channel side. So if at any point something is kind of wrong, it will get picked up.
Yeah, I was going to say there is always a delay before an ad goes live as it goes through the channel's own approval process. So if you notice a mistake and you think, oh God, my ad's gone live and I noticed a mistake 5 minutes ago, there's always generally a delay. If and occasionally, actually, this is worth flagging, occasionally even studio content will get rejected by a media channel. That is because, for example, we had an ad a couple of weeks ago for Nobody, the Bob Odenkirk title, that got rejected because the image was someone getting punched in the face. That got blocked by Facebook's internal review for excessive violence. That's nothing we have control over, unfortunately. That is a Facebook thing. What we will always do is we will either resubmit it, and if it gets rejected again, we will contact you and let you know and work with you to try and find some content that will get approved. I actually was really surprised by that because I didn't think a studio would make content that would get rejected by Facebook, but sometimes it happens and that is a Facebook thing. But we will work with you to make sure that we will find content that will get accepted. We've got a couple more questions. Library of movie assets increasing.
Yeah, I'll take that one. So for some, especially smaller titles, unfortunately, we don't get all that much. I know this is, I'll give an example. Another Round is one of these where we looked at the content we have. We didn't have anything in there initially, which I know caused some issues. When I went back and reviewed and we added in that information, I was still only able to get access to the one sheet. We did get access to some publicity stills. We haven't been including publicity stills as some of the images and videos available. There's not a lot of context there. There's no call to action. It doesn't even really say what the movie is. I worry that if we, allowed or if we made those available, it wouldn't really be the best performing image or creative. So we haven't been adding in publicity stills. So some of the smaller titles may only have a one sheet, or they may have a trailer. We may not have a ton of assets for those films. But over on kind of the more general, larger scheme of things, yes, the library of movie assets is absolutely increasing. We're going to be bringing in a lot more information. We're working with our partner to not just add in more assets in general, but also to start to provide like suggested copy or suggested headlines that either the studio is providing or is attached to those images and videos as well. So all of those bits will be coming, but definitely the assets will be increasing. The other thing I will say is, if for some reason, I hope this is not going to be the case going forward, but if for some reason we don't have an asset for a movie, or we don't have a movie available, there is, this probably doesn't meet your need or how you want, this may not be the best answer for you, but there also is the ability to upload your own. So you can always go get a piece of content from somewhere and upload it yourself if we don't have anything. But yes, we absolutely want the library of movies to be increasing and to have all of those assets there at your fingertips.
So one more question. Do we need to tell you if you already have an Instagram or Twitter account?
So when you go through the Connect Facebook process, we'll be adding that you can add your Instagram page. At the moment, we just have basically connecting your Facebook page or your Facebook ad account. If you've done that, we are able to run Instagram ads for you. If you want to post your Instagram page, which is not currently turned on, it will be coming soon, you also have to connect your Instagram page, but that will come up when you click on this dialog. So you'll do that all in one step. Because Instagram is owned by Facebook, it all runs through the same process. So Instagram, you'll do with Facebook. Also I'll say, for the people who we've already connected their Facebook and Instagram, you're already all set. So Eric, for you specifically, you're all good. You can run Facebook and Instagram. other people who we've gone through the process of connecting their Facebook and Instagram, you're all set and good to go. But if you're coming in new to the platform, you will want to connect through the dialogue process that we showed. As for Twitter, again, you don't need to connect your Twitter account or your Twitter page until we're ready to start doing some organic posting, which will be coming. If you have a business-specific ad account on Twitter and you wanted to run your ads through your own Twitter ad account, not the one we set up for you, we will be enabling that soon. But if it's a concern at the moment, we can kind of run you through that individually, separately. But hopefully that answered your question. Basically, reach out to us if you have it. We'll figure out the best way to get you all set up. But you don't technically need them. You should be fine just by connecting Facebook through this little dialogue that we walked you through.
Great. Well, that's all the questions that we got right now. If you have any more, pop them in the chat. Otherwise, you can always contact us directly afterwards. I will put my email address in the chat now. There you go. So if you want to get in touch with me directly, feel free to just use that email address. And of course, we'll be sending a follow-up email with the recording. And you can obviously always ask any questions through that. If you've got any other concerns, feedback, you know, you'd like a new feature, whatever the case may be, please feel free to get in touch. This is, you know, a very new product that is constantly growing, and we want to make sure that it's as useful as possible for you. So hopefully we've addressed the majority of what you need. But if there's anything else that you can think of that you think we need, just let us know, and we'll look at how we can add it in. Otherwise, I think that is everything. And I will make sure to send that registration link around again as well in the kind of wrap-up email that we'll be sending out. And yeah, otherwise, have a good evening if you're in the UK or in Europe, and have a great day if you're here in the US. And we look forward to seeing you on the platform.
Yep. And also just say, in terms of kind of business model and how payments and everything, please just go to our website. It kind of varies by country. So for those of you outside the US, you can look at our website and kind of see what the product is, how it works, how much it costs, all of those bits and components. So definitely take a look at that. And if you have any questions, please reach out to either Jess or I, or, you know, sign up. It's free. It's completely free to do so. So if you just sign up, it's free. And then, you know, you'll get access to our little, in the bottom right, our chat, and you can reach out to us directly and ask any questions you may have. And we're happy to address any concerns.
Great. Thank you, everyone, and have a good day.